behavior modification can change the values of a person or a group of persons or an organization or a country or whatever. There's interplay between the two. But however, there's something that doesn't change. Deeply held beliefs, convictions, unchallenged certainties, like, your spirit soul. That doesn't change. An intrinsic part of culture is being a spirit soul. Then there's values and behaviors that are not necessarily intrinsic to the soul. They morph over some period of time. And so there's an interplay between the values of Bhagavad Gita. We'll go back to the previous presentation here. And it's culture. So there's interrelationship between the two. Iceberg of culture. One more thing, and then we're about to launch. In Bhagavad Gita, many times I like visiting universities. And, I started recently at Champaign-Urbana. Now, many of you may not know where that place is. You're nodding. You don't know. Champaign-Urbana is a very reputed school. It's not one of the Ivy League schools, but it's just below, my understanding is, it's just below it's very competitive to get in. And so this was the first meeting of the Bhakti Club of that university, and the room was packed with, guess who? Non-resident Indian grad students, not just undergrad, but it's like the room full of grad students, smart people. And so I started with the same question. Is anybody here that's unfamiliar with Bhagavad Gita needs introduction? And it wasn't a young fellow, it was a Mexican man who was a PhD researcher. And he just liked, the advertisement that he saw. So we spent 40 minutes just discussing, introducing him to Bhagavad Gita. So, and when I introduce what Bhagavad Gita is to new people like that, one of the ways to describe it, at least one of the ways that I describe it, it's a wisdom literature. Because all cultures of the world have their wisdom literature. India has it, Chinese have it, Greeks have it, Italians have it, the British have it, everyone has their own wisdom literature. It's wisdom literature. So it's knowledge and wisdom, and there's information, yes, but it's much more than information. So same, in discussing Gita values, you transmit information by that little PDF that you're going to get in a while that says what the 6 Gita values are. It's information, but it doesn't stop there. If it stops there, then it's not value. It doesn't go inside yet. But if it goes inside, it's something that you accept and you live by. That's more than information. So it's information plus. Or wisdom is more than information. Bhagavad Gita is more than information. It's wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom. And then here's another little point. Sometimes there are teachings in Bhagavad Gita where one could say, gosh, I like that value, but I'm not there yet, behavior-wise. So this is another nice image called liminal space. I learned this terminology from Satchidananda Swami. He uses it a lot. So liminal space means, whoops, it's not changing. It's on my screen changing, but it's not changing over here. There we go. You hit the magic button. This man's a controller. Okay, so liminal space. What does liminal mean? It's a Latin word. In architecture, it means neither inside nor outside. Like where Hiranyakashipu was killed. Lord Shingadev killed Hiranyakashipu, neither inside nor outside. So a hallway or some space that's neither this nor that. Or that's architecture. In carpentry, many cases there's a little board from the door, or in a bathroom, there's a little strip that goes across, and it's marks, it's called limen. It's the word of that piece of carpentry. So in life, liminal space means what the image shows. Or on the left side, that's where we are, or on the right side is where we want to be. And sometimes there's a big gap between where we are and where we want to be. So Bhagavad Gita has that also. And one might be a little intimidated by, gosh, can I really get there? Besides humility and honesty and self-evaluation, can I really get there? And then the answer is yes. The answer is yes, because Krishna will help you get there. It maybe looks like it's far away, but when the reality is there, it's Krishna's instruction to go from the left side to the right side. So that's a Gita value. That's just like there's a soul, there's Krishna's help, Krishna's assistance to achieve what we want. And sometimes the journey is like, you don't really know exactly what the next step is, but you keep going. Life has that uncertainty. So now the first of the Gita values, equal vision, or samadarshana, pandita samadarshana. Does anyone here know the verse? Vidya vanaya sampane brahmani gavihastani shuni chaiva swapaki cha pandita samadarshana. You know the verse? No? It's a nice verse. Samadarshana. Sama, equal. Darshana, to see. Darshan. We'll go to the temple and have darshan of the deity. Deity darshan. Darshana, to see. It's equal vision. It's a Gita value. So if you're going to be a follower of the message of Bhagavad Gita, it's not 1, 2, 3. That's the liminal space. We're not there yet, but how do you see with equal vision? Let's go forward. When there's so much variety. Now, there's no such tree as a tree that has all these fruits. But there's varieties of fruits and varieties of insects and varieties of birds and varieties of aquatics and varieties of animals and varieties of carnivorous animals. So many differences. Lots of differences. Diversity in the material world, and diversities in cultures of color and language and flags, and so many differences. That's on the external side. And then the internal side, there's differences of emotion. Or the same thing, different people may react in different ways to the same thing, because the inside is a little different for different people. So, emphasis. This is on the Samadarshana topic of value. There's different life forms, different people, different situations, different exchanges. How to achieve it? Is that a good question? My dear friend, is that a good question? How to see with equal vision? The answer, this is an image. There's on the bottom right, that's the key. On the upper center, that's the lock. The key unlocks the lock. Equal vision has to do with seeing the soul within, because that's the unchanging reality. They remember the bottom of the iceberg, the given. It doesn't change. Things may change upstairs, but that part doesn't change. Another verse from Bhagavad Gita. Anybody know the verse from Bhagavad Gita? The That's the verse. Vidya, a learned person. Vidya Vinaya Sampane. Brahmani. Gavi. Hastani. Shunichaiva Supakicha. Pandita, a learned person. Samadarshana, see with equal vision. So all those little sparks, those are souls. There's some souls floating around that are not apparently in bodies that are large like these other ones, but they're different souls within. That's the commonness in different forms of life. The eternal, unchanging spiritual energy. Now we can say spiritual energy, or we can say spiritual entity, the soul. All living beings are spirit soul, regardless of species or form or culture or language. And you'll see this guy a few times, that's us, that little skinny guy, is the soul. And the soul has its qualities: eternality, cognizance, and bliss. Satchitananda. Or Sandini, Samvit, and Ladini, same message. Eternality, knowledge, and bliss. So while there's varieties, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So in different bodies and different species and all those differences, there's a sameness within. A little exercise that I do sometimes when dealing with young people, high school students, or I believe I'm going to be asked to go downstairs and meet with the kids. The kids are going to be very eager to recite some Bhagavad Gita slokas and whatever else they're going to do. Poke each other and giggle and, things that kids do. So I'll try it. Here's ask. I've had this experience many times. Okay, who's the smartest kid in the room? And they all look at the same person. They know who the smartest kid is. Okay, would you mind if I ask you a few questions? No problem. Point to your head. Point to your leg. Point to your arm. Point to your chest. Now point to you. Your arm, your head, your chest, your leg, the object, and then the possessor of the object. Who's the you? And sometimes they go like this. This sum total of the body. But that's not who we are. That's not who the soul is. And the soul is very, very tiny, pervades and gives life to the gross and the subtle body. And the size of that soul, there's a verse from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. You've heard this before. 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. So take a hair, tip, not just a hair, a tip of the hair. Divide the tip of the hair in 100 parts. Take one of those 100 parts and divide that into 100 parts. It's not finite, it's the commentary on this verse from Shvetashvatara Upanishad is to say it's not measurable by material units of space, but to give the understanding, at least notionally, that's very, very tiny. And that same tiny living entity, soul, animates the body of a squirrel or a microbe or amoeba or some one-celled living entity, and a big elephant. Same soul, same size of the same soul. Now, here's a verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15. Guess what? We're nearing an end. So get ready for an abrupt ending. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, attains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose. And what's the other one? Touch. Which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Corresponding to the senses, something is more attractive, and something, another sense, another entity with another sense is less attractive. And in our human form of life, we not just one sense that's well developed, but all five senses are well developed. And so it gets, maybe gets a little distracting, so many senses. Even in different bodies, every living entity is an amazing soul. Here's from Bhagavad Gita chapter 3. But the consciousness of all living entities is covered by the illusory energy compared to the embryo covered by the womb. That's darkness, like a tree. The tree is very covered consciousness. The tree is conscious. Everything that's alive is conscious, but darker modes, it's like a tree. Or compared to the mirror covered by dust, a little less covered like in an animal, or in the human form of life, fire covered by smoke. So less covered, but covered by the illusory energy. So unfortunately, we identify with the illusory energy, just like I'll report to you next time we get together what the kids downstairs are going to say. The smartest kid in the class is going to say, "That's me, point to me." Identifying with the body, you can understand. Therefore, this is the same Bhagavad Gita verse. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater, swapakacha. This vision awards personhood to all, links everyone with the divine grace, and consequently with each other. We're nearly done. Equal vision begins with seeing ourselves as what we are, then seeing other living entities who they truly are. So now the last exercise is interactive. A good class is not complete without some interaction. So I'm going to give you a little assignment that you read what's on the screen and then you discuss amongst yourselves. What are some challenging situations where you feel that you cannot see different people with equal vision? Think of one person in your life with whom you have difficulty, now or in the past. Write it down or absorb yourself. And then if you could see that person as a spirit soul, regardless of their behavior or speech, see them as spirit soul. And what happens? So breakout groups. Now breakout groups work well with 2 or 3 or 5, or a small number is better, please. And then I'm just going to stop speaking, and you all are going to do the speaking, and because at least you know some people here, and if you don't know, you can make some friends. Clear what we're doing? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
It's hard to make friends I've been making friends with a single girl for so many years. I used to have a good friend. I'm I didn't pick up any of them. What's my You can also get receipts. Does that mean?
Okay, finish up. Okay. Gita values. Let's see if there's some questions or discussion on Pandita Samadarshana, or equal vision. Comments or questions? Fundamental, but liminal space. We're not there yet. He's got a little microphone. Just as soon as somebody raises their hand, he's going to jump up and...
I believe what we discussed as a group.
Fine, fine.
Am I not loud enough?
No, no.
Okay, okay, not a problem. Thank you. So what we discussed as a group was where is it that the episode hurts us, and what are our thoughts surrounding that episode,
Yeah.
and how is it that we can learn from the episode and turn out to be a better version of ourselves and better human beings. And what my friend brought out was a very beautiful perspective of thinking that everything that the other person is doing or has done is also part of his karma. And if we think about something as a good karma or bad karma, let us devoid of those things and think of only that I have to do a good thing and God will take care of the rest. So continuously, letting that play in your mind, and you try and be an embodiment of such a feeling. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to add to that.
Oh yeah, please
no,
do.
No, but we'll take the microphone from you. Bhagavad Gita. You have a Bhagavad Gita in your home? Good. When you get home, or sometime, chapter 13, text 22, 13:22. And in that verse 13:22, Krishna says, the living entity, Purusha Prakriti Stohi, Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan. Bhunkte is the operative word. The Purusha, the imitation Purusha, that's you and me, us, we're imitating the enjoyer. Bhunkte Prakriti. We're trying to be the enjoyer of matter. And the ways in which we're trying to enjoy matter generates good fortune, ill fortune. Sad asad yoni janmasu. Sad asad. Good fortune, ill fortune. So, we're the architects of our own. There's another way of saying what you said. Karma, I'm getting what I deserve. Because somewhere back there, I may not remember what's back there, but somewhere back there, some good fortune. Somewhere back there, some bad deed, some misfortune. And I'm receiving the fruit of my past deeds, good and bad. And I'm the architect of my good fortune, ill fortune. So I can't blame someone else. If I'm blaming someone else, guess what? I'm an illusion. I can't see what's what. I can see the instrument of my karma, but the instrument is because of my karma, misfortune or good fortune. And then what you can do, you and I can do, is be situated in transcendence. Not just do something good. Yes, do something good. But for what purpose? Because you do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. So it's not just to get good instead of bad. That stays in the platform of duality. But to see, here's a spirit soul, like me, they're in a body, and like me, I'm acting according to the indications of material nature. I get angry because, or I get hungry because, or I get something because of the body. The impulses of the modes of material nature are acting on me, and so are they. And something that triggers them brings some bad behavior, bad speech, or something. I triggered them. And, but it's just the modes of the Prakriti acting. So let me step back from the duality thing. That's chapter 2 Bhagavad Gita, and just accept it. That's what it is. It's a duality thing. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya, sitoshna sukha dukkha, agama payo nityas, tang satiksha. Just you tolerate it because it's just the nature of the place. There's sometimes and sometimes. The weather's changing. Wait till winter comes. And then the next season will come. So everything keeps changing. So something doesn't change. That's the soul. So let my consciousness go to that which is eternal. And then, so here's this living entity, this misfortune that comes because they said something, did something. But can I see them as spirit soul? The instrument of my past misdeeds or good deeds? Another way of saying, but just adding the dimension of soul to the whole picture. That myself and the other person. Anyone else? I'm used to very interactive audiences, so don't disappoint me.
So I have a question.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
Discussion. So my question is like, if we go by that logic, right? Even Mahabharata happened, same thing, right? If you see everybody as a soul and think like it is the past karma that we are like, even Arjuna, Krishna also said to Arjuna, right?
Yeah,
So to fight.
yeah,
He, as you said, right? First chapter itself says, right?
yeah.
He kept his bow down and he said, "Oh, I won't fight because of a number of things."
Yes.
And one
Virtue.
of that,
Virtue.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
by virtue, I'm not going to fight.
yeah. So if you see as everybody as a soul and everything happening to you is due to past karma,
So then you-
why you are fighting then? Like,
So the answer is what
Yeah.
Krishna wants.
Yeah.
You do what Krishna wants.
Huh?
You do.
Yeah,
And
but Krishna, okay, sorry.
in Arjuna's case,
Sorry.
he was telling him.
Yeah, that's what the point is. So
No,
in
what
that
about-
case, he was there? Now he's not there, right? Like
No,
at
he's
least-
not there, but we have scripture.
Yeah.
And scripture is the guide for the three. There's three guides to know what to do in any situation.
Mm-hmm.
Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. It's Shastra's the king, the emperor. And sadhus abide by what Shastra says. Guru abides by what Shastra says. So let me take sadhu sangha. All of you are in the path of becoming Vaishnavas, and that those Vaishnavas are sadhus. So those who are aligned with what Shastra says, those are sadhus. And let me understand. So you have your sadhu, your favorite sadhus, and you go to your favorite sadhu. Here's this, like Krishna is doing, Arjuna is doing with Krishna. What should I do? And then you, guru. But the sadhu means one who's aligned with what Scripture says. They live their life that way. So then you and I need to learn what does Scripture say, and you and I need to then live our lives accordingly. And then we become Vaishnavas or sadhus, and then we can be in association of others, and it's sadhu sangha. That's how I know what to do. Krishna's not standing right next to me, as he is on Arjuna's chariot, saying, "Pick up your bow, Arjuna." But he gives many, many, many other things. So we can read Bhagavad Gita, and then the graduate study from Bhagavad Gita is the Bhagavatam. And I'm sure you've all heard, because we just had this Bhadra Purnima program, we're promoting Srimad Bhagavatam all around the world, and many, many, many persons that didn't have the Bhagavatam now have it, and that's how they can get guidance. When there's a really elevated soul, Krishna speaks directly to them. No, you and I probably don't have that liberty. But an elevated Vaishnava, pure devotee, not just super soul speaks to them through their intelligence, but Krishna speaks to them. They consult Krishna, and Krishna speaks to them. Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, good.
You said that everything which is happening in the world right now, or which has been happened in the past, or whatever everybody is doing, it's Krishna's will, right?
No,
It's not
it's
Krishna's will.
sanction. He sanctions, it's not his will.
So
So
is it
people
like-
do bad stuff. Krishna isn't willing that they do bad stuff,
Okay.
but he sanctions. Supposing I'm a thief,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a householder. I'm praying to Krishna. Please let me not be detected. I can sneak into his house and steal from him. And you're praying to Krishna. Please protect my house from thieves that may want to break in. So it's Krishna just not. He said, what a difficult spot to be in for Krishna. But so he doesn't will, he sanctions. Upadrashta anumanta. Upadrashta, the word again. He sees, he oversees, upadrashta. And then anumanta, he gives permission. He grants, he sanctions.
Okay. So basically, when we were started with the equal vision, so the thing is that when we say that every soul has some deeds, some do the
Mix.
good deeds and some
Yeah.
do the bad deeds, right? So how is it matter? I mean, it is just the equalization of the good deeds being done with the bad deeds, and the bad deeds
No,
being equalized with the good deeds.
that's material life, and then there's spiritual life. So material life is the mix, and proportionate in the mix, sometimes and sometimes. And life after life, sometimes in different proportions. And that's on the karma side, and there's the guna side. So mix. And then there's the transcendent side, or transcendent reality. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita, the purpose of knowledge, is to eradicate ignorance. Light defeats darkness. Turn on the light, darkness is dispelled. So the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas, it's light. And in darkness, it's a mix. In transcendence, there's no mix. You go to the light and you just keep going to the light. The darkness is back there and you're going to the light. And, that's you're not there yet. And if you're not there yet, like most of us not there yet, there's a mix. So now how do you make your choices? Because we're making choices. Everything. I was watching our friend here putting all the shoes on the shoe rack. Some people, when they came in, they saw a shoe rack and they put their shoes on the shoe rack. Some people put their shoes wherever they wanted to put their shoes. We're making choices about everything we do. So it's not just an appeal to put your shoes on the shoe rack. It's to illustrate we're making choices all the time with everything, and there are consequences for those choices, good, bad, and mixed. And generally it's a mix. Some good, some not so good. Some really good, some really bad. And, with not necessarily bad intention, but bad choices. And there's consequences, good and bad and mixed. Now, the teaching, the Samadarshana message is, see the soul, not just the good and the bad and the mix. Because there's good and bad and there's mix, and you can see it. In the species of life and how people, that one slide, people's reactions to circumstances. Some people remain calm, some people get flipped out. So, there's differences. So how to see the soul in this world of variegatedness? That's the challenge. That's the Gita value number 1. And how do you get there? Practice the system, the principles of the system of yoga, and ultimately, of all the systems of yoga, one is the topmost. I'm giving you like a little Bhagavad Gita summary here. The last verse of chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, this one in the yoga ladder is the topmost, the uttama form of yoga. It's bhakti. And then live your life as much as you can, that understand the principles of living your life in bhakti yoga, living your life in bhakti yoga, and you're heading towards the light. And in the association of sadhus and gurus that are aligned to that principle. So we're starting with the first one. Well, there's 5 more. They're nice ones too. Okay. Somebody else. Okay. What's next? I'll go to the kids. Okay. How about this? Is the plan to serve prasadam next for everybody upstairs here when I go downstairs? Or they're going to have kirtan, or where they chant japa? What's going to happen? When I walk out, what's going to happen? Up here. Prasadam. Okay. Mahaprasadam. Before I came here, they loaded me up with 3 boxes of Mahaprasadam from Kishore Kishori temple. And I'm going to walk around and I'll have another box for the kids, don't worry. So I'd like to give some